You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about Russell Wilson. We got some information about what he may be looking for as far as a salary, which isn't going to be much because it doesn't have to be much. It looks like the Broncos are going to release him, and he's going to get the veteran. He could sign for as little as the veteran minimum, all right, which certainly is going to open some doors as to where he might be able to go. Maybe he knows he's going to have to play that card in order to get a job. Because it was said just the other day, I made a video where somebody came out and said they thought there was a chance he might not land a job anywhere. I'm not so sure about that. I think he's still got a year or two left at minimum. And then we've got Steve Smith. And this is, of course, he's a Hall of Very Damn Good. One could argue with his statistics, Steve Smith Sr. will eventually get in the Hall of Fame. If he would have gotten a Super Bowl ring, he would have walked in. I mean, he's got 14,000 receiving yards and 81 touchdowns. That, generally speaking, eventually gets you in the Hall of Fame. When? I don't know. But he has come out, and to say that he has destroyed Russell Wilson is sort of the understatement, because I'm not sure you can insult a guy any more than what Steve Smith is doing by simply saying, you know who would love to see Russell Wilson on a team? Every other team in the Pittsburgh Steelers division. That's not great. That's not great when your rivals may hope you sign with one of your other rivals. That means they've got no respect for Russell Wilson whatsoever at all. We know there's a lot of fire, and I mean a hell of a lot of fire, around Russell Wilson to the Steelers right now. And look, the one thing we know is Russell Wilson's a clear upgrade versus Kenny Pickett. But when you consider how good Mason Rudolph played, is he a clear upgrade over Mason Rudolph? Does anybody know that for sure? Because Mason Rudolph played pretty well, and he's a whole lot younger. And you can probably get him, well, you're talking about getting him for maybe the league minimum, so it would, in fact, be less money. And maybe, just maybe, and I think Steelers fans are going to be pleasantly surprised by Arthur Smith at offensive coordinator. Maybe Arthur Smith can get something out of Russell Wilson. So this is what Steve Smith said. I mean, wow. About the fact the AFC North is begging for this to happen. Former Ravens legend Steve Smith Sr. joined NFL Total Access to talk about the Steelers quarterback situation. The host asked if the Steelers' current solution to their quarterback issues is in Denver with Wilson. Smith inquired if he should answer the question as a former Raven or as an NFL analyst. The host encouraged him to answer it as a Raven. Quote, so if I'm the Baltimore Ravens, I'm saying, oh, hell yeah, bring him in. Bring him in. Have you not seen Russell Wilson over the last 2 seasons? Have you not seen what's going on in the AFC North? According to Smith, the AFC North has a plethora of talented quarterbacks, and he believes that Wilson would not be much help to the Steelers. Now you have Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh? I don't really see Russell Wilson right now, based on his body of work of what he has done in Denver, that you're sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, the Steelers just got much better. Yikes. Good luck, Buttercup. If you're going to get Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh and play in the AFC North, they have 3 good teams. And if Russell Wilson is your guy, he does not make your team better right now. Wow. Sometimes I can't read and sometimes I can't count. But guess what? I can count and read today, and the numbers don't add up. Wow. Wow. According to Smith, not only does he not believe Wilson would be helpful to the Steelers, but he also thinks the other teams in the AFC North, particularly the Ravens, would be ecstatic to see the Steelers acquire Wilson. Wow. Listen to this. Smith believes that if the Steelers did bring in Wilson, their team would be weakened significantly. Woo! That is body bagging Russell Wilson. It is. Now, I will tell you this. I do disagree with him on one aspect. If the Cleveland Browns have Deshaun Watson, I think it's a damn toss-up. I would rather have Russell Wilson than Deshaun Watson, and that's saying a whole hell of a lot. But at least you can look at the statistics of Russell Wilson and clearly tell he played better quarterback than Deshaun Watson did. I mean, but, then again, if you bring in Joe Flacco, if you get a Jacoby Brissett, I think it gets close then. It gets a lot closer with the Browns, but the Browns got that really good defense. That's pretty hardcore to come out and say, yeah, the Steelers can sign him. They're not any better because of him. In fact, they may actually be worse. I don't know that I buy that. They're certainly not. Look, Russell Wilson's better than Kenny Pickett right now. I don't even think there's a question there. But Mason Rudolph and what he showed would have to give me pause. But if you can get Russell Wilson on a league minimum, I think you kind of got to try him out. And this is what may happen. ESPN Jeremy Fowler reports that Wilson may be willing to take the veteran minimum for the 2024 season once he's released by the Denver Broncos. Quote, everybody I've talked to around the league expects the Denver Broncos at some point around the new league year in the next few weeks to rip off the Band-Aid and release Russell Wilson, even though they owe him $39 million in guaranteed money, Fowler said on Sunday on SportsCenter. But they can start new. They can go sign somewhere. He can go sign somewhere else. The feeling is he'll sign for considerably less, maybe even the league minimum, because he's got all that money in hand guaranteed. So he's going to have options. The feeling I get from talking to teams and scouts is he's still an NFL starter. There will be a job somewhere. I tend to agree with that. I still wonder if maybe the Raiders won't end up taking a hard look at Russell Wilson, even though I did a video the other day where it was kind of like, probably not. With the Steelers are the most fire around all this, but you've got the Falcons, all right? You got the Falcons that are looking at quarterbacks. If something happens and the Bucs lose Baker Mayfield, if Kirk Cousins leaves the Vikings, all these teams that need quarterbacks, Patriots, Falcons, Steelers, Vikings, Buccaneers, all these quarterbacks that may or may not lose a free agent or whatever, they're going to all look at Russell Wilson because I'm not going to kid you. At 900 and whatever it's going to end up being, probably 975,000, he's not a bad signing. I mean, I come down on Russell as hard as anyone does. But, look, he's still Russell Wilson's still a 19 to 25, 26 quarterback in the league. He's really more like an 18, let's call it 18 to 24, to be fair. All right, his statistics are still too good to make him much worse than that, and he certainly showed improvement. I think a lot of it has to do with what offense gets him, what offensive coordinator gets him, and what do they think they can do. I certainly believe. Now, if you're the Steelers, do you want Russell Wilson or do you want Ryan Tannehill? Because Tannehill walks in the door knowing the offense. I don't know. But at 900 and whatever, 75,000, Russell's a bargain. That's also going to get him looks. Like if you're the Patriots and you can get Russell Wilson for 975,000, You trade Mac Jones and you sign Russell Wilson and draft a quarterback. There you go. So, anyway, tell me what you think, Black and White Sports supporters. Steve Smith. I mean, that's hardcore. The other teams in that division are hoping you sign Russell Wilson. It does not make you any better. That sounds like a guy that probably ought to just come out and say, Russell Wilson should retire. Honestly, that's kind of where you're leaning at. There's not a lot of in between unless, you think he's just a backup quarterback now. Wow. But it says a lot because the Broncos are certainly considered quarterback needy, and they're getting rid of him and eating the money. That tells you a lot, too. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.